Hi guys, Chanel just recently launched some new shades in the Rouge Allure Velvet range and I picked up 5 of them. I used to have a few of these a few years ago and then I picked up another one, was it last year or the year before, and I've been trying out other lipsticks since, but I actually really like this formula. I was talking to a couple of different people and they found it a little bit drying, but I don't find this drying at all. So they describe these lipsticks as a luminous matte lip colour. And for me, that's exactly what they are. They are a matte and they have quite a lot of lasting power. They're not going to last for hours and hours, but they do leave a really lovely stain even after 3 or 4 hours. And lipsticks tend to wear off quite quickly with me. I'm not quite sure what I do, but they just don't tend to last very long on me. But I do find that these do. I don't find them drying at all. Now, I don't get dry lips whatsoever. I have oily skin and I don't have oily lips, but I've never suffered from chapped lips or dry or peeling lips or anything like that. So maybe that has something to do with it. I find this formula very, very comfortable, and initially it looks quite luminous, and once they dry down that luminosity goes a little bit, but they're not a really dry matte formula like there were the Dior Forever Matte lipsticks, and I have got one of those shades and I really like that, and that has great stain power. But I do find that I sort of need to put a lip gloss over the top of that, whereas with these lipsticks I don't find that I need to at all because they just don't dry down too much. I think they are a really lovely formula for a matte type of formula, and it really is sort of a velvet type of finish for me. I think they're really, really lovely. So the 5 shades that I got number 48, and that is Ardente. Then I got number 53, and that is Inspirante. Number 61, Intuitive. Number 63, Essential. And number 64, Eternal. So we'll take a look at the 5 shades that I got. I will swatch them on the back of my hand, but I'll also put each one on as well so you can take a look. So have a look at the first one. It's number 48, and this is Ardente, and this is quite a bright coloured one. So it's in the click packaging, which I think is really, really lovely. I love this packaging. So this is Ardente, and this is a really beautiful summer colour. So this one is Ardente. And then we've got number 53, and this one is Esperante. This is a really beautiful shade. I'll just hold that up so you can take a look. Next is 61, and this one is Intuitive. Number 63, this is Essential. And finally number 64, and this is Eternal. So now I'm going to swatch them on the back of my hand, and I'll start with the lowest number again. So I'm going to start off with number 48. And that one is Ardente. So this is Ardente. This is a really beautiful, this is a gorgeous orange. And these lipsticks also have really great opacity as well. I think this is a really, really lovely shade, especially for summer. Really beautiful. And here is number 53, and this is Esperante. This is a beautiful colour as well. It's more berry than I thought it was going to be. I thought it was going to be a little bit more red in tone, but this is a really lovely colour. This is number 61, Intuitive, and this is a beautiful beige. It has a slight pink in it as well. I think this is a really beautiful nude shade. Really, really lovely. Then we've got number 63. This is Essential, And this sort of has brown tones in it as well, but this is more pink, and it's more of a muted pink. I think this is really lovely. This is sort of an everyday type of shade for me, really gorgeous. And then finally is number 64, and this is Eternal, and this is, it's a berry, it's a plum. This is really beautiful, and this is the other one that I thought looked a bit more plummy as well, but this has more red in it than this one. But both of those shades are really, really lovely. So looking at them all on my hand, I think all shades are really beautiful, and I'm looking forward to trying them on. So I'll put them on in the order that I've swatched them, although I've got to wipe them off in between. That shouldn't be too much of a problem. I don't find when I do lipstick swatches that my lips get deeper in colour or anything like that. So some people have that problem. Once they start rubbing their lips, the pigment in their lips sort of changes, the tone in it changes. So I don't really have that issue. So I'm going to start off with this one first, and this is Ardente. So just like with the other Chanel Velvet lipstick that I have, I find this formula really, really comfortable. I also find them really pigmented. When it comes to deeper colours, I don't wear them, or brighter colours like this one, I don't wear them that often. So I'm very careful when I'm applying them. But really, if you're more confident and you just go on with the one swipe, that is really enough. And they feel quite creamy. I do find you have to just let them set down just for a few minutes, and you do get that subtle luminosity, not that really flat matte like I was talking about with that newer, the Dior Forever matte lipstick. They don't dry down to that flat matte at all, and I think that the formula is really, really comfortable. This shade is really gorgeous. It's a fire orange, and I think it's really, really beautiful. I said last year that I was going to start wearing more orange lipsticks, and I have. I do tend to go for the nudes a lot, but I have been trying to incorporate these more in. And when I put them on, like I just have, I think the shade is really, really beautiful. I think this is a lovely, lovely lipstick, and great for the summer months. I think this is a great addition to the Chanel, the Rouge Allure line, and it's summer here now in New Zealand, and this is the perfect shade. So this is number 53. This is Inspirante. So this is the one with the more red tones in it. Again, a really bold shade for me, but when I put them on, I do think that they look really, really beautiful, and they just feel really great on. With the last lipstick that I put on, I will leave it on for 5 or 10 minutes and have a break in the video and just show you what it's like after 5 or 10 minutes wear. But now I'll wipe this one off and put on the next one. Then we've got 61. This is the shade Intuitive.
Through the night, see your house from the highway, way up high. Things are so different now.
So this one is a lot more of a deeper brown shade, and for me this is more sort of like an autumn, fall type of shade, more winter. It's not really a shade that I reach for a lot, but again, once I put it on, I do like the look of it. I just really need to get out of the habit of just reaching for a very sheer nude every day, because when I put these on, I do think that they look really, really lovely. And if I wanted to lighten it a bit, I probably could put on a gloss, not to make them so they don't feel less matte, because like I was saying, they don't feel like a dry matte to me at all. They feel quite creamy on, but just to lighten this brown shade a bit, I could add a lip gloss that I've got. I've got a couple of Bobbi Brown ones that could just lift the look of it a little bit, and I think that would look really pretty as well. But in saying that, this is a really lovely shade too. And then we've got number 63. This is Essential. This is the second time that I'm putting this one on, because after I'd done this, I looked over to my monitor and realized that I hadn't hit record again. But this is a really lovely shade.
Another minute, let me hold you. You might be late for work, that's okay. Every day I get to know you, and all your flaws and nothing.
So I think that the shade is really beautiful. It is a pink, but it also has quite a bit of brown in it as well. I think this is really pretty, and this is more of a spring summer type of shade for me as well. I think this is really, really lovely. So now we'll get to the last one, and that is number 64, Eternal. But first of all, I'm just going to wipe this off. So we've got number 64. This is Eternal.
River flows one direction, and fishes, they follow the flow. But what if one tried to mention that there was much more?
This shade is a really beautiful berry plum shade, really gorgeous. Now, I don't have a lot of shades like this in my collection. I may only have one or two. I would have to look around, even if I've got that at all. I'm not too sure. I've always sort of stayed away from this type of shade, but again, now that I've put it on, I think it looks really, really beautiful. I really do need, as I keep saying, to wear more of the bolder colours. I think they look really lovely. So now I'm just going to take a 5 or 10 minute break, just so you can see what the lipstick looks like after that time frame. From memory, it doesn't really look much different to what it is now, but I'd just like you to be able to see it after that time. And I'll also do a kiss test either on a tissue or on the cloth in front of me as well. So I took a break for, it was about 10 minutes. It wouldn't have been longer than that. And this is how the lipstick looks. To me, it looks exactly the same as when I first put it on. It still has that very subtle, it's a luminosity, but it is very subtle. And it feels just as creamy as when I first put it on. Now, when I say it's creamy, it's not like a creamy satin lipstick, but it just doesn't feel dry. And for me, this is how it stays during the day. So this is the cloth that I was using when I was swatching all my lipsticks. So it's sort of dried down a bit, but it's not a tissue. But I will still just do a light dab on my lips just to show you how much of the stain stays on and how much goes onto this cloth. So I'll just press it on. So I pressed quite firmly. I actually did it a couple of times because I don't think I was pressing that firmly, and that's the lipstick that comes off. So it's not very much at all really, and a lot of the colour has still stayed on. So when I've worn this formula before, it stays on me for probably about 3 to 4 hours looking like this, and then it does start to fade, but it does leave a really beautiful stain, and I just simply have to reapply it. But because it's a deeper shade, and all of these lipsticks that I've tried on are, I do have to use a mirror to reapply it. And I think that's why I stay with the more sheer lipsticks often, because if I'm out and about, I can just reach my bag, grab my lipstick. I don't even have to look in a mirror, and I can just put it back on. Whereas a shade like this, I definitely need a mirror when I reapply it. But in saying that, I do think they are really lovely lipsticks. I don't think that they're drying at all. And I think for a velvet matte formula, They are really, really beautiful. So I'm really pleased with all the shades that I picked up. I've still got all the swatches on my hand. I really like them all. They look a lot better than I thought they would, especially these two shades here. These are ones that I don't tend to reach for very much. I thought this was really beautiful on. This is a shade that I probably like the least. I wish it just had a little bit more pink in it. But like I said, I'd probably pop a lip gloss on that had a little bit of a sparkle in it. And I think that would just lift the shade just that little bit more. Not to give it any more gloss because they're too matte, but really just to lift the colour a bit. It does have a pink base in it. I just wish it had a little bit more. I think there is another shade in the collection that does, from memory. I can't remember it off the top of my head, but I think there is one just slightly lighter. But those that love these brown nude shades will really love this. It's lovely. And I think this is really gorgeous. This is what I call the fire orange, and I think it's really, really beautiful. So overall, I'm really pleased with the shades that I picked up, and I'm glad to add some more bolder colors into my collection. I think that they're really, really lovely. So that's it for today's video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, give it a thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you next time. Bye.